Okay, alamak, terlepas a couple of minutes, but it's okay. So we are just starting, so that's fine. So next time, if I forget to record, please remind me, someone remind me to record the session. So, all right. Okay, so basically when we're talking about management, it goes back a lot to manufacturing. Okay, so especially bila the start of Industrial Revolution 1.0. Sekarang kita dah Industrial Revolution ke berapa ya? What is the current Industrial Revolution? Where are we at?
4.0.
4.0. Okay, so we are around 4.0. Tapi realistically, in reality, are we at 1.0? You have to judge. You have to see. Adakah kita already reach 4.0? Alright, so 1.0 is basically people can move from town to town. Okay, so you can sell goods from Selangor ke Pahang, for example. Okay, so and then 2.0 is basically the introduction of electricity and whatsoever. So mass production. Okay, so apa ni? Mass production. So mass production in a sense that a lot of cars being produced, mass production at the factory. So with electricity banyaklah kita boleh buat. And then Industrial Revolution 3.0, we have introduced computer, the use of computer to expedite our job rather than writing. And then if you want to make copies pun, you can write and write. So we have computer. So to help us, that is 3.0. 4.0 pula, we are talking about cyber physical. Okay, we are talking about computer connecting to the computer. Okay, so you don't need human to meddle around. So maksudnya, there is a sensor, can tell the computer to start up something. So for example, the simplest would be something like smart home. Okay, so anything to do with smart. Smart is basically IoT, Internet of Things. So everything thing connected to thing. So you don't need to have human in between to activate certain elements. So for example, I think the advertisement is quite popular, yang mana that we can actually heat the oven before we reach home. Oven ambil masa lama juga kan untuk heat. Okay, so from the time we balik tu, let's say after kerja, so your oven is already heated at home. So you can just navigate using your smartphone connected to the oven kat rumah. Okay, and also any sensor lah. Okay, so you have security camera and so on yang guna sensor that alert the system, security system, and it could alert the police, whichever nearest police station and so on. So those are sensor, computer thing to thing. So items are talking to each other without human meddling. Okay, so that is 4.0. But how well are we in there, especially in construction? Are we 4.0? Maybe not all. Okay, so obviously it's not all, because when we are talking about construction, more or less 90% masih SME. Okay, so small, medium enterprise. So if it's SME, you don't expect them to pour in that much of capital untuk create all things smart. Okay, so every of their doing is smart. So smart schedule, smart alert system, because it requires cost. Okay, so maybe higher capital, what do you call it? Construction companies would be able to do that. Okay, so like BIM, I'm pretty sure everyone heard of BIM. If you haven't heard of BIM, you must know what is BIM. Okay, so building information modeling. So that's one of the things that you need and you must know now. It's impossible for you to actually go on to your work tapi you tak tahu BIM apa. So you need to know what is BIM. So we will touch a bit. Tentatively, we do not have a syllabus on BIM kat sini, but we will touch slightly a bit. At least you know what is BIM before you go on to the work. Important things that you need to know in construction, basically BIM, sustainable construction. Okay, so sustainability. Okay, sustainability ada berapa elements ya? What are the main dimension or elements of sustainability? Anyone? Pernah dengar sustainability tak? Anyone heard of sustainability? If you have heard, how many elements or dimensions of sustainability yang kita biasa know lah, we usually know. Tak pernah dengar eh? Okay, if you did not answer, I assume you have not heard of sustainability or you do not know the dimensions of sustainability. This one you need to know by heart. Okay. And while you're basically ODL ni, I'm talking like this. I need you to at least have something in your, some other you have a notebook or you have I think you need to have a notebook. If you're looking at me using your screen, then you tak dapat nak scribble unless you can scribble on your screen. Okay, so kalau tak, I need you to have a notebook for ECM 566 because there are things that I mentioned verbally that will not be in the notes. Okay, but I think it's important for you to know because you before you go into the work life later on. Okay, so ada certain things yang probably is not in the note, but I will mention it and you need to know because you don't want to go into the workforce and when people speak of some topic, you like blur dan tak tahu. Tak boleh. You need to know. Even though you know sikit pun, at least you know so that you look kind of smart jugalah. Okay, so because that is how basically you survive. So there's no way you can know everything. It's impossible. But you know something to show that you are knowledgeable. Alright, so because this is undergrad class, so basically I will have to like inject in certain things like this. So there are things you need to know or there are things you need to learn to survive the working life kemudian. Okay. So sustainability, you need to know. Okay, so sustainability is a huge word. Okay, so when we are talking about sustainable development, it can involve so many things. Sektor macam-macam. Okay, so maritime, anything, oil and gas, services, hospitality, tourism, semua nowadays, when we're talking about sustainability, they take into account sustainability. And one of the important goals they are holding, it will be SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. Okay, so let me just. Okay. I will bring my scribble thing the next time, but for today, let me just write it down here. Okay, so for construction, basically we call it sustainable construction. For other industries, they call it sustainable healthcare or whatsoever. Okay, so SDGs. Okay, so there are a couple of SDGs that we adhere to, Sustainable Development Goal. So this one you must know. Banking pun banyak buat, so you need to know benda ni. Okay, so not only talking about projects, so actually all industries, okay, so almost all industries are basically moving towards adapting sustainable development goal. And the three main elements are environment, okay, economic, okay, and social. Okay, so the three dimensions that we usually measure would be the environment. Okay, so you can see that when we talk about sustainability, we talk about green. Okay, so green infrastructure, green facility, reduction of the energy usage, semua tu lah. So basically that one is a lot to do with reducing the greenhouse gas emission. Okay, so environment. So a lot termasuk all these whatever pollution, water pollution, air pollution, dust and so on. Okay. On the other hand, when we are talking about sustainability, we need something yang economical juga. So wasting money, huge cost for no apparent reason, those are not sustainable. Okay, so economic, basically you would involve something like value engineering. Okay, so the use of value engineering during the assessment of project. Okay, so value engineering, basically we conduct it to look into the most optimized value for a design, because designers can come up with certain different concept, certain design, but the engineer or whoever the project manager need to conduct it to ensure that the selection of the project is based on the most best value. So value engineering, value management, and also social. Okay, so when we talk about sustainable, I think you have heard of environment. Okay, so all this green, I rasa semua orang rasa when you talk about sustainable, dia kena green. Okay, but actually it has to be economical as well, and it has to be socially viable as well. Meaning to say that your project needs to what they call, needs to take into account the people surrounding. Are they happy with your project development too? For example, traffic jam. For example, all those especially the accident currently yang baru berlaku tu. Tahu tak yang accident yang happen that the crane fell from the Suke highway under development tu. So those are the functions of social. So social ialah to take into account the opinion of the end user, the opinion of the people surrounding, and also the workers. So safety and health and so on. So those is social. Anything to do with people, whether the people is involved in the project directly atau not directly, social. Tapi sometimes social ni it is undermine lah, under how to say dipandang sepi, because it is like you invest money, but you don't really necessary, how to say, you don't really necessarily can see the direct benefit out of it, because it is to do with human. So for it, the most obvious when we are talking about social in construction is basically health and safety. Okay, so health and safety is the most obvious element that we talk about in terms of construction, social and so on. Okay, all right. Okay, so but we'll go through it in detail. Okay, so in our chapter kemudian. Coming back here, okay, so that will be in the introduction sikit lah on manufacturing and so on. And then we'll go into the history, current development in project management. So this and this more or less interrelated. Okay, so management, we'll talk about the basic function. And the history of it, this is where we talk about how it actually evolved daripada awal tu, daripada the first industrial revolution. So more or less interlinked to each other, these two chapters. Okay, and then the next following week, we'll talk about project management in Malaysia. All right, so that will be what is project management, construction in Malaysia, and so on. And then these three topics will be rather general. And then the next following project definition will be the first stage of project management, construction project management. At the very first stage, we need to identify our project. What our project intends to do, what is the aim, apa we want to build, and so on. Okay, so you define it. Once you dah define, dah tahu what you going to construct and whatsoever, what is the funding resource, we plan. Okay, so planning part 1 will be theoretical. Planning part 2 will be calculation. Okay, so that will be precedence diagram and so on. And planning part 3 is more or less here. So I would see that we will do a lot of exercises kat sini lah. Okay, so I will, when we're talking about here, I need paper, pen from you. Okay, so you need to prepare yourself with something that you can scribble on, something you can write on. So just have one notebook for ECM 566. Okay. So we continue with project planning. Okay, so the chapter is rather long. Okay, so you can see that it will take quite a while because I need you to follow through with the calculation and so on. Okay, and then crashing. So crashing is basically the application of project planning, or we call it time cost optimization. Okay, so cuma nanti you will know why we call it crashing lah. Okay, so time cost optimization. And once you have the plan ready, you can start constructing, then you monitor and control. Okay, so you monitor and control here. And then earned value management is one of the monitoring control tool. Okay, so once you have done the monitor, happy, everything, towards the end, you will close the project. Okay, project closure is very short, maybe it's an hour to lecture, but it's essential. Before you close a project properly, what you need to do, what are the elements? So basically, and the last one is role responsibility of project manager. So basically, starting from the front to the end, if you can follow through properly, you should be able to manage a simple project. Okay, so your total hours for this will be 42. All right, so the cost outcome, okay, so for this course will be CO1, basically to analyze construction project using the key performance project management concepts, okay, in order to deliver successful construction project. So you can see that the key project management concept starts from the very beginning, chapter 1, sampai project closure. Okay, so once you have actually walked through the concept yang ada, then you should be able to run a project, a simple project on your own. And if even that, if you're talking about that, the tools can even be used to manage your own self. Okay, so you can actually use it just as a try run on yourself. Okay, so we have activities, we have deadline, similar to your assignment. Okay, so your assignment is a project because you have the start date, you have end date, you have activities to be done to complete the project. You have the objective, what you need to complete to address the project. So your own self, your activity, or your basically your assignment, your study course assignment, you can treat it as a project. So then you can see how actually you can apply this in a very small minuscule level project. Okay, and then CO2, cost outcome second will be to apply project management process, the tools, the techniques in producing effective outcome. Okay, so one will be the concept, one will be the tool. So concept is a concept, but to apply or to work the concept, you need to be supported by the process, the tool, and the technique. Okay, so you will try, at the end of the day, you will be able to engage upper concept superficially, but how to apply it in activity. Okay, so that will be using the tool. Okay, and your program outcome untuk ECM 566 will be PO2 and PO11. Okay, so PO2 basically is problem analysis. Okay, so you should be able to analyze your problem and come up with the solution. And PO11 is pretty obvious. Okay, so project management and finance. So level of management required for differing types of activities. So a lot of whatever we are doing are basically on project management to solve construction issues. Okay, so you can see that PO2 and PO11 is basically cognitive. Okay, so basically it's a lot of menguji your understanding lah. Okay, so your comprehension of the program and so on. Okay, so evaluation for this course, I presume it will be same for all the others. Okay, so you will not have for ODL for COVID situation as such, you will not have final examination. Okay, so you would have test 1, 20%, test 2, 40%. So that will take up 60% of your total marks. Okay. Test 1 and test 2, different topics. Okay, so I will see that test 1 probably will be on theoretical part until I would foresee it until project planning. Okay, so it will be from the beginning until project planning. And part 2, test 2, I would foresee that crashing until the end. So, but I would have to discuss this with the other lecturers as well who is teaching this. However, the topics will be different. Okay, syndicated marking is on the lecturers. Okay, so your test paper will not be marked only by me. It will be marked by other lecturers who are teaching this course. Okay, so that's what we call syndicated marking. Okay, and your second part, the 40%, would be project and presentation, or it can be assignment, it can be quiz. Tu je. Okay, so this one I have to discuss with the other lecturers first before we can assign you. Okay, so it can be project and presentation 20%, assignment 20%. Okay, so it will be either two. It can be 20% or 30% project presentation, 10% quiz. So as such lah. Okay. Okay, so these are some of the reference book that we might use, and there are so many more. Okay, so this is just a slight tip of the iceberg. There are so many books, so many books. Okay, so you can actually go through the library system and actually download books. So there are a lot of books which are available on the library, at the library, yang mana you can download. Okay, and besides that, basically we might also use journal. Okay, just to get an idea, tahu tak journal tu apa? Bukan journal diary ya. Everyone knows what are the difference between textbook, journal, conference proceeding. Kau tak pernah dengar? Hello. Tak tahu. Okay. So at the university level, you need to know the difference. Okay. So reference tu, dia ada book. Okay. As such, textbook or whatsoever. So book is a compilation. Is like benda tu factual. A compilation of how should I put it? For one topic. So for example, construction project management, you might get a book memang talking about what is construction project management. It's good for you to refer in a course study. Okay, so like if you're taking construction project management, it's good for you to refer so that you boleh tahu in more detail what is construction project management, or one of the topic, what is project definition. So you will be able to understand that straightforward. Sebab buku tu akan ada topik on project definition. So that is book that whereby you just want to know in detail or in further what are the topics involved. Okay, so for example, there are topics on project planning which you need more information, then you go to a book. Okay. Journal on the other hand, ialah a more comprehensive form of written knowledge. Okay, so journal biasanya being written by researcher. So for example, like me, okay, so if I'm in, if my research area is in health and safety, okay, and I want to understand more current knowledge of what is health and safety and what others have done. Because when we talk about at the university level, you do not only look into apa yang dalam buku, you look into beyond what is currently being investigated by university luar. Okay, what has been done in the US, what has been done in the UK, and then you compare what knowledge, what new knowledge. Book is quite static, dia tak dynamic sangat. Okay, journal is dynamic. Maksudnya we are looking into very current. Book ni the reference can be quite long ago and it's just a compilation of how to say, a compilation of knowledge. But journal is much more advanced. I will show you, I will give you example of this in the next class because you need to know this. Kalau tak, you tak faham the difference between book, journal and also conference proceeding. Kita to the proceeding lah. Okay, so all of this you can get it from library. Hari ni tak sempat, but I'll show you in the next class. I need you to go through this because in your assignment, I might want you to look into books. I want you to look into journal. I want you to look into proceeding. So that you jelas beza buku, journal, proceeding. Why is it important for you to do FYP nanti? Okay, so when you do your FYP, you cannot refer to only book. Impossible. Okay, so you will need to refer to journal. You will need to refer to proceeding. Tapi apa benda tu, I will mention to you in the next class. Just remind me in case I lupa. So just remind me to show you apa beza book, journal and also proceeding. Okay, so it is very different. And the most comprehensive write up ialah journal. Okay, so journal ni bila kita tulis, we are reviewed. So for example, if me, I submit a journal untuk publication, it will be reviewed by professor from other universities and so on. So maksudnya, we cannot just simply write what we want. Okay, so we cannot just say, I think construction management is rather weak now. Yeah, but how? So it needs to be proven and so on. Okay, so that is journal lah. But anyhow, just remind me so that I can show you. And also, I think okay, towards the end dah. And I think very important ialah make use of the library. Online je nowadays, you don't even need to go to the library pun. Okay, so if you access the library website, banyak benda you can find. You are paying for it, it's in your fees, make use of it. Okay, so nanti bila you dah kerja nanti, then you realize how much you lose if you don't use the facilities dah provided, because it's very expensive. One journal paper, okay, so if you are trying to download one journal paper, it costs you around 40 USD. Okay, so but library subscribe it. So this is where you like get everything and pack it with you, so that the next time around you can, you can actually use it. Okay, so these are just some of the references. I will go through this later in the next class. And I think itu je lah as an introduction. So far, any question you want to ask me? I think I'll have to make a rule like one class I will take in at least minimum 2 questions so that we can end the class. If not, we will be just like this. Any question?
So far no, Doktor.
So far no, itu je. Tak ada lain-lain. Mungkin first week tak apalah, but coming with the next week we have other topics and so on. I hope that we have question. Okay, so by the way, there should be question. Dia mesti ada benda yang something that makes you like apa so we can discuss. Okay, so I think at this moment, if it's clear, then we can end the class for today lah. Okay, just remind me on the library. I'll just, esok lah kan our class kan? Okay, so I will try to get some sample of book, journal and also proceeding. I'll just walk through in terms of library tu. Sebab I think it's very important. Your referencing that you're going to use in your assignment too should include all of that. It cannot just include website, tak boleh, because website might not be reliable. Okay, it is not reliable because it is not reviewed. Who says someone that wrote on blog is correct? So it's not necessarily. Okay, so because you are in at the university, so very important for you to use benda yang betul, credible knowledge and information. Okay. All right, so if you do not have any question, I think for the first class, we can stop at sini and I'll meet you tomorrow. So far, any question? If you have any question, just we have 3 more minutes. If you have any question. Tak ada. Make sure plug in. Yeah?
Is there any possibility for individual task for this course? Or semua
There is possibility. There is possibility.
Yes.
I would foresee there will be one individual assignment and one group assignment. So there might be
Group. for the group, there will be how berapa orang dalam satu group?
Orang.
Ke tak
That
lagi?
kita tak fix lagi. So I need to talk to the other lecturers dulu. But I would see somewhere around, for me, comfortable would be 4 for
Okay.
me lah. But I'll need to confirm that with the other lecturers lah. Okay?
Alright. Thank you, Doctor.
Alright. Attendance, make sure isi ada yang belum isi ni. Akmal Izham, Fatlullah, semua belum isi. Mostly dah isi. Nurul Naziha belum. Nur Huda belum. Hafizuddin, Hazri, Fatullah, Akmal Izham. Okay, so if you are here, please fill up your attendance. Okay. Alright, so if there are no more, tapi kita ada partisipan ramai 52. Let me check the chat box. Okay, can I have this slide for reference in the future? Semua dah, can you actually access my folder? Can you all access my folder? I've actually uploaded the latest slide in my folder, my name too.
Yes.
Okay. So for those, Shalmira, you can actually access this slide in my folder. So my folder is actually quite full. Okay, so because I've actually taught this course in 2018, cuma I will update the slide before the classes. So try to get the slides probably a day before or something like that. Like this slide I have actually uploaded the updated one yesterday. Okay, so get those slides from my folder. Kalau boleh dapat from my folder, then I think tak perlu for me to put it in your specific group code. Okay, so just find my name and download it. Okay, alright. So I nampak tak ada question. Okay, so I think we can end the class here. Alright, so you have a good day ahead. Okay, thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.